Earth, the planet that we live on, home to nearly 10 billion people. But is it home to all of us? Some of us are not from here, and we know it. Maybe not consciously, but on a subconscious level, we know we don't belong here. So where did we come from? Which galaxy did we originate from? Who are our original people? We have to ask ourselves, are we from the Milky Way galaxy or from somewhere else? We are on a constant journey of searching where we belong and why we exist in the first place. But are the explanations from earthly religions going to answer these questions for us? So many people these days have questions of life and existence, but are left empty with only more questions after following some earthly belief structure for years. We also wonder, why are some people born with incredible talents and seemingly have an advantage over others intellectually, and some fall short? Do we reincarnate and learn through our existence, giving us an advantage in our next lifetimes? Or do we live only one lifetime and go to heaven like religion tells us? Some people believe we're in a simulation and our lives are being controlled by powerful beings. Some people believe that a creator deity presides over us and dictates every aspect of our lives. Or do we have control over our own lives completely, and we decide every aspect of our existence? We live on a planet that's shrouded in mystery with ancient structures that were built, but we have no definitive way of explaining how this was accomplished. Did other people from another planet come to Earth in the distant past and help our ancestors build these megalithic structures? Also, do ghosts exist, or are they figments of our wild imaginations? Have the hundreds of sightings of Bigfoot and other cryptids been fabrications of people that were seeking attention? Or have they been here with us all of this time? We also have to ask the question about our genetics and why we are so barbaric and warlike. Were we genetically manipulated by other human beings to be predisposed to barbaric tendencies? Have other humans and people from the great expanse of the cosmos been coming here for millions of years, and people are only denying this fact? I'm going to delve into these things: reincarnation, spirituality, existence, UFO encounters, the paranormal, science, genetics, and the future on live stream, and discuss with you, the listeners, and try to figure out the truth of all these mysteries. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find out together that we are all not from Earth.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. We are all not from Earth. Tonight, got a lot to talk about. This episode 8, wanted to talk about World War III. Unfortunately, I think that it is absolutely imminent. There's not much we can do about this. From all the things that are happening, the war with Iran, I don't think there's anything or anyone that can stop it right now, other than, other human beings from another planet. But I don't think that they're going to do anything about this. So, um, all right. So, the reason why I've come to this conclusion, this has been talked about a lot. There are, multiple prophecies that people have had throughout time. There's a woman called Baba Vanga. She had future vision capabilities, and she spoke about World War III and other human beings from another planet making themselves known. Now, these other people, they're not from the Federation of Light. And also, Billy Myers had prophecies about this also, which his prophecies, up until today, they're coming true. Um, so before I delve any deeper into that, um, need to discuss, the details about this, what this podcast is about. So if those of you that are new, maybe you're joining in on live stream on Patreon. I talk about all kinds of things: UFOs, ghosts, paranormal experiences. I've had my own paranormal experiences. I haven't seen or heard the ghost that follows me around in a while, but for some reason, it was in my previous home. It would activate the smart refrigerator out of nowhere, activate Siri, knock down towels from the shelves, opening doors and stuff like that, scratching the wall, even during the daytime. This ghost would scratch the wall. I think I know who it is. Um, it was a woman that passed in that house before my ex-wife and I moved there. Um, so yeah, I don't think she likes me very much. But there was also another ghost that followed us around every place that we moved to. So I've had my own share of paranormal experiences. I've seen like interdimensional beings, interdimensional creatures. There was like this rabbit like creature. It was definitely from another dimension. It just popped up out of nowhere. I was like meditating outside um, on the golf course. I was walking my dog at night. He wanted to go out, and we live next to a golf course, and there's nobody out there at nighttime, so I let him run around and play. And I was meditating when I opened my eyes. This strange, like rabbit creature was much, much bigger than rabbits that you normally see. Just like popped up out of nowhere, hopped right beside me, and then disappeared again. And then there was also like this big bird creature that did the same thing, kind of like swooped down. I was with my nephew at the time. He saw it too, but I don't think he remembers it. Um, he was really young when that happened. So, but yeah, I've had my share of that. Also, I've seen like hundreds and hundreds, thousands of UFOs, otherworldly craft, black triangle UFOs, um, all sorts of things like like portals opening up. Um, my brother and I, we used to sit on top of the roof and we should just watch UFOs. So he believes in it also. But yeah, I talk about all that. You know, I try to base things off of spirituality, which that doesn't mean religious delusion. I don't buy into any religions. The main reason is because I've had experiences, like near death experiences, and I've actually seen this stuff for myself. So, yeah, I talk about that too, near death experience. I haven't yet, but I'd like to get some people on and them share their experiences and all that. Anyone that says they have like like they go to heaven and they see God and all that, that's just you know like self-made delusion. You have to be like religious minded to have an experience like that, because that wasn't my experience at all. I know for a fact that there is no heaven or this fiery inferno. It doesn't exist. um, there's like creation, and there's us, and we reincarnate. We live many, many lifetimes and reincarnate, throughout 116 million year period. Um, so I know that for a fact myself. Of course, everyone has their own beliefs. I support people's beliefs, but I have my own knowledge, past life knowledge and this life knowledge. So I know definitively that there is no creator God. It's it's just a fictional concept. It was always other human beings that effectively, started religious delusions, especially on this planet. This is one bizarre planet. Um, I don't think there's really any planets out there like this where so many times in the past, other human beings have come here and pretended to be some sort of creator god. Um, this is really unique. This is a unique situation. And this has happened so many times throughout the millions of years. I don't know. It seems like people just want to target this civilization. People come here from other worlds. They pass of different, different reasons. Some of them pass, from old age. Some had accidents. Some came here and started a war on a planet called Malona. Blew that planet up, and their spirit forms ended up coming to Earth. Some lived on Mars. This has happened all throughout time, throughout the last like 4 million years since the barbaric people came here from the Sirius regions. There's been nothing but just war and negativity and violence and sexual depravity and all sorts of horrible things. They've spread their genetic manipulation, and we all suffer from it now because they came here to Earth. They raped the natural inhabitants, spread that. Also, in the past, there have been other human beings that have done genetic alterations to Earth humans. They've procreated naturally, spread other genetics like Lyran genetics, um, and these are the stories, like the myths and stuff like that of giants and other ethereal supernatural beings coming here. This civilization has a lot of stories like that, but there's so much misinformation about it. There's no such thing as supernatural beings, guys. There never has been. There's no such thing as angels or a creator God or anything. This has been, perpetuated for millions and millions of years, and it just seems like this civilization cannot snap out of this. Um, you have to think logically, you have to think reasonably, and unfortunately, that is not the popular consensus. Even though people are, um, awakening more and more every day to the possibility of reincarnation, and they're snapping themselves out of this, sort of religious delusional mentality. Until we can do that, there's not going to be any actual progress. So that is unfortunate. It is eventually going to happen, but it seems like it's the whole process is getting slowed down because of this world war that's probably going to happen. I would say that it's very likely around November, um, so or the year following. No more than 2 years. So I don't see that you know things will be stretched out any further than a couple of years, and that's it, guys. I hate to say it, this is of our own making. I'm not involved in it in any way or fashion or form, and I'm sure that any of you that come across this podcast, you're not responsible for it either. But unfortunately, we have to pay the ultimate price because of negative individuals. The current American administration, you know, the Illuminati, all these negative people that are up to these negative intrigues. I just don't understand it. What is wrong with these people? Haven't they learned their lesson already? There's already been enough wars in the last 100 years. There was World War I, World War II, Vietnam, um, Desert Storm, both Desert Storms, and it's just it's it's never ending. It's just a constant war, and people are deluding themselves into thinking this world is perfect. Guys, it's not perfect. Open up your eyes. I just don't understand why so many people are just okay with the way that it is. Hatred, violence, racism, prejudice, all of it. Just let it go. Um, it hasn't made this world a better place. It hasn't advanced us technologically. It hasn't cured any diseases or viruses or degenerative disorders. It hasn't gotten us any closer to figuring out we were genetically manipulated by other human beings. It hasn't done anything. No one's created technology to properly recycle and reuse all sorts of materials, rubbers, plastics, glass, metals. The garbage is piling up. Pretty soon, we're going to be living in our own garbage and filth. It's already happening. You drive by certain parts of town, and people got bags of garbage piled up in their yards. They're literally living in their own filth. Um, and it just seems like people are not maturing. They're not growing on an intellectual level. This civilization is de-evolving, despite what a lot of ridiculous people think that we're evolving. We're not evolving just because you have touch screen, laptops, tablets, smartphones, electric vehicles, flying around an airplane. This is nothing. This is pathetic. This is a pathetic level of evolution. Um, this civilization should have evolved a lot sooner and a lot quicker. But to those like myself that's perceptive of it, this is not evolution. This is de-evolution, and it's only getting worse. And now, this whole plot to you know destroy the world and stay in their bunkers and then rise from the phoenix like the ashes, it's not going to go the way they expect it to go. And these people that are involved, don't they realize realize that you can't live forever? They really think that this agenda, they're going to survive all of it. How ignorant can you possibly be? None of us live forever. We have a short amount of time already as it is. We are living very, very short, unnatural lives. It's very rare to see somebody live to be 100 years old. Most people live to be about 60 or 70 years old. You have all sorts of disorders, physical disorders. You have diabetes. A large portion of the population develops diabetes because they have the wrong diet and nutrition. They eat too much carbohydrates and sugar throughout their lives, and then they tax their pancreas, and then their pancreas can't create insulin anymore, and they have diabetes. So when they end up dying from that, they end up dying from cancer, leukemia, all sorts of other disorders, sexually transmitted diseases. Um, and nobody's really pushing to cure any of these things. They're not on the active fundamental level trying to cure these things. The pharmaceutical companies are just mitigating the symptoms, and if they focus all that attention to actually curing something, then they would be able to cure it, but they don't care about that. They just care about profit. That's all they care about. And then you have other individuals, like Bill Gates. He is literally altering the food supply to try to kill us off, and he was involved with COVID-19. So he is an evil, evil, evil man. The rumors about him, with Jeffrey Epstein are true, and he even admitted that he had an affair with his Russian mistresses. That's not the only thing that he did. And his wife didn't just divorce him because he had an affair. She already knew about that. She divorced him because of uh, you know the sexually depraved things that he did to minors. That's what he's been doing for decades. So he's a disgusting disgrace of a human being, and he's also owns like hundreds of thousands of farmland, and he's trying to poison us off, and so are a lot of other people. And there's mass surveillance that's going on. Freedom of speech is being, we're being violated. You can't speak against these people without them coming at you somehow. And they try to silence people. They assassinate people. They discredit people. make things up, and all this is not going to end the way they think it is. It's just to someone that sees things clearly and understand the way that things work, the end for them is going to be horrible. And they've wasted this lifetime. That's the thing, guys. You cannot waste your lifetime on negative intrigues. There are people out there that believe that, all this has a purpose to it. That compromising yourself, you experience these things, you make mistakes, you cross that line, you cross the thick line of the creational laws and creational recommendations. You step over that line, and you learn from it, and you suffer, and then you in your next lifetimes you won't make those mistakes. Well, it's not that simple. It really isn't that simple, because you have literally wasted a golden opportunity, one lifetime out of hundreds of thousands, to actually achieve something in the positive. That's what it's all about. That's the reason why there are creational laws and creational recommendations. I've already done an episode on that. So if you want to refer to that episode, I go into details of that. I might have left a few laws out. You know, Thinking about it, I think I left a couple of things out, but those are essentially the creational laws that everything is built on. And the reason why they exist in the first place is, so we can live our lives within the parameters of them, not so we can step over and cross that thick line. That's not why they were created for. They were created for all beings, no matter what classification. We're in the human classification. There are other, peoples out there. There are reptiloids and insectoids, and they all possess creational, energetic, spirit form. They're spiritual beings. So just like us, there's no difference. They look different, but they're still the same. But we all have to, you know, live our existence with them if we want, positivity and luck to be attracted to us, to draw in friends, to, live our lives pretty much, devoid of any like real consequences. And there is no God that punishes people. We're the ones that punish ourselves. So, with that being said, these negative individuals, which there are hundreds and hundreds of millions, there are billions of people on the planet who have compromised themselves sexually or being involved in this, and they have absolute complete apathy to what is going on. They have hatred for others, like uh, people from Israel. I'm not saying everyone is, but they literally hate anyone that is not Jewish. They hate the Arabics. They want to destroy the Arabic race. They committed genocide on the Palestinians. And you watch these videos on the internet and social media, people making these comments about them. We're better than everyone else. The Palestinians, the whole Arabics, they're evil and all. No, they're not. Not everyone is evil. You're just a hateful piece of garbage. That's what you are. And there are people like that in America. There's a lot of them in America. People say that racism is dead. No, it isn't. Not even close. You have to look at each other like you're equal. And the reason why World War III is going to happen is because of that. Because you have certain groups of people who hate other groups of people and they want to destroy them. Um, Guys, this is not going to end well at all. This ridiculous agenda is just going to end with three-quarters of the planet being destroyed. So I believe it is inevitable. So there are people that are, helping out with this. The people that are trying to stop this from happening, they call it the Great Catastrophe. They are the Federation of Light. Billy Myers contacts. Those are his friends. He hasn't met everyone, but he's met. He has a lot of contacts, even to this day. They are led. The Earth mission is in charge. His name is Ptah. He's in charge. Also, there's uh, a man, his relative, man named Quetzal. He helps out also. Um, Ptah's daughters, Plea and Semyazi. Well, Semyazi is in the Dow universe right now, so she's not a part of the Earth mission because she had an accident on Earth. Someone, snuck into the one of the contacts, and Billy's contact's supposed to be like secret. They can't see them for whatever reason. Um, they snuck in, and there was like a malfunction with her transport technology, and unfortunately, she hit her head, and um, she was in bad condition. So they had to save her, put her into suspended animation, stasis, heal her, and then she has to do her recovering on a planet called Timor, which she's been there many times. And she has a home there, but that's where she is right now, recovering. Unfortunately, um, I have my theories about that. I think it has something to do with the negative energies. But yeah, it was a technological malfunction. Very, very unfortunate. She's a credible woman. From what it sounds like, she's very opinionated. She's very angry, upset at the way that things are in this world. Her and her family and others, they're trying to do something about this, but they've been doing that since 1975 officially. They even had a couple of outposts, which they have removed their outpost in 1995. Was when they packed it up and left for whatever reason. I guess they accomplished, you know, their mission for the most part, but their mission is like twofold: to bring the creational teaching of reincarnation to Earth, also to try to stop the great catastrophe. But also, they've said even after that that it's highly likely that it's going to happen if people do not come to certain realizations and stop their negative intrigues. So, well, that doesn't seem to be happening on any level. I think this is far out of their hands. They also made a proclamation. They said that no matter what happens, they're not going to directly interfere with what's going on Earth because they believe that um, the our whole evolution is up to us. I would have done the Earth mission a whole lot different. I would have contacted more people. They're only in contact with Billy. Honestly, the truth is, you never do a mission like that. You never just contact one person. Um, it's really bizarre to me. They have their own reasons. I don't know all the reasons on why they just felt like there was one special person on this planet that can do this. I don't see any positive growth on this, and in the current times, I think more and more people are compromising themselves. More and more people are being negative. Um, People are losing their sense of empathy and compassion. This world is becoming more and more cold hearted. All of these things that we're going through, um, it doesn't result in more positive emotions. What it results in is becoming jaded. They don't understand that when you go through the things we have to go through on this planet, and guys, they can't relate to us. There's just no possible way that they can relate to what we're going through because they've never been through this before. They've been through negative periods before, and they think they're under the impression, these people in the Federation of Light, that all struggles and negative periods are all the same. No, they're not. Like I said, the situation on Earth is unique. They didn't have to deal with that. Actually, everyone from the Lyran lineage, they're responsible for religious delusion. Everyone, even the Syrians that came here and pretended to be creator gods 4 million years ago, that came with the barbaric people, they were from the Lyran lineage, likely most of them. And you've also had the Lyrans and Vegans and Lemurians. They're not from the Lyran lineage, but they're from that area, the Lyra Vega systems. Then you had the Hyperboreans. They're from the Lyran lineage. Then you had the Bafath. they were Pleioran from the Lyran lineage. So all throughout time, this one lineage has done so much insurmountable damage on this planet, and still to this day, it's not repaired, and it's going to be several hundred years before there's any positive progress. Um, I know they know that. They know the facts. They know more facts than I do about this, but um, just doesn't seem like they're keeping this into account with how they're doing this mission. They strictly go by, prophecy and numerological calculations, and they're not seeing all the intricacies in this. I did a blog post on my website, we're all not from earth.com, and I talked about the negative energies and how humanity is not learning from these negative energies. We're not learning how to dissipate them. Um, we're not learning how to, control them in a positive way and project positivity. No one is learning these things, and not everyone is going to learn about reincarnation, unfortunately. With their plan, um, I would say probably 7.5 billion people um, that are from Earth are going to actually know about reincarnation. Everyone else is not going to. So there's currently 10 billion people on this planet. Despite what the census says, there are 10 billion people on Earth. There are people living in underground cities. Um, Talked about in the previous episode, these secret projects from these corporations. They have these massive underground cities, and they're connected through tunnels and maglev trains and all that. And that's not conspiracy theory. That's a fact. You can do your research, and you can trace it back to the late 70s, where they had the U.S. Air Force had an actual patent for a boring machine to bore tunnels, even underneath the ocean too, in the Earth's crust. Bore these tunnels, create these tunnels, and connect them worldwide. They're all connected. So you have all these people on the surface, and you have these people in these underground cities on every continent on the planet. Aside from Antarctica, there's places on the surface. There below the surface is where other human beings live. There are three peoples on Antarctica that are not originally from Earth. Yeah, I don't know the names of these peoples, but they're there. People have interacted with them, like Admiral Byrd back in Operation High Jump, interacted with these people. They are in somewhat cooperation with the Illuminati. So whether or not they're giving them weapons, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so you have 10 billion people on the planet. I would say that only about when all this ends, and it's about 1,000 years when all this is going to end, when Earth humanity is going to finally um, cure every single disease, virus, degenerative disorder, and fully reverse the genetic manipulation with the help of the Syrian Federation, by the way, which I completely disagree with. Then they're going to leave Earth, but only like 3.8, less than 4 billion people are going to leave Earth. So there are billions and billions of other people, maybe like 7 billion, are going to get left behind spiritually, and you'll have to drift to other civilizations. So I don't really see the whole point of this Earth mission. Not everyone's going to make it off. Not everyone is going to learn about reincarnation and creational teaching. So I just don't see all the horrible things that are going on right now. What is the actual point of all this if not everyone's going to learn from this? They don't actually really care about that. They only care about completing their mission. They don't care about us that is in the physical lifetimes right now. They don't care about the innocent children that are getting kidnapped and used for disgusting sexually depraved acts. They have an emotional reaction about that, but their actions speak louder than words. They say, "Oh, we care so much." Um, I'm going to call BS on that. Uh, so they go on these, like, mysticism, nonsensical things like cosmological events and numerological calculations and prophecy, talking about prophets and all this. Now, come on, people. How about you use your high level of intelligence and logic, and you start seeing things for what they really are. Stop focusing on the future when all this is over, and how about you focus on the present and you actually care about the people that are alive right now? Because being kidnapped and tortured and used and abused, and some of you seen those videos with like John Podesta. um, I forget the nickname he was doing, but he was torturing a boy, um, completely traumatizing him. He's done this to a lot of people. John Podesta is one of the sickest individuals on this planet, grotesque and disgusting, and he's getting away with it with no accountability. So are a lot of other people. Um, so what's the benefit of going through that? And what about the innocent babies and the children over there in Palestine, which the Israeli Defense Forces are murdering in cold blood? It's just disgusting, and there's nothing that you can go through like that that's what going to make you a better person in your next lifetime. Oh, it's all for a reason. It's all for a purpose. It's all creational. Everything that happens underneath creation is creational. So it's all gonna, culminate into some magical fairy tale ending 1,000 years from now, and it's all gonna be worth it. Everyone's gonna think back. Oh, we're so grateful that we went through all of these horrible things. We're so happy that 3/4 of the planet was destroyed through World War and atomic war. We're so grateful that we were tortured and abused and used by our own people. And then another thing is, guess what? Everyone's gonna have to live with each other in the future because that's the way that it works. Because you can't take 3.8 billion people and then they go their separate ways because they're disgusted about what they went through in previous lifetimes. Children will incarnate with parents that abused them in previous lifetimes. Parents will have children that tortured them and abused them in their previous lifetimes because that's the way that it works. It's inevitably going to happen. And they're not thinking about these things. You have to consider that even though each lifetime is a new lifetime, it's a new physical body, and it's a new persona, a new personality, essentially. But the past did happen, just like the past from this point on now. So it is March 7th, 2026. So anything that happened previously, yesterday, a year ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, it is definitively cemented in the history of creation, and it did happen. You cannot change that. You can go back in time and you can observe these things, but the past is the past. It's just like in the future from now, 1,000 years in the future right now. Everything that is happening now and that's previously happened and is going to happen, it is going to be cemented in time space. And you cannot change that. You cannot change the fact that all these negative mistakes were made. And another thing is nobody is being held accountable. But the moment that these negative people they decided to go with their negative intrigues, plots of world war, subjecting the population, lying to people, manipulating with the food supply, delving into cannibalism and sexually depraved acts, all of these things, and also just regular people that have grown cold-hearted and apathetic to other people's suffering, that make um, disgusting comments on social media like X. It is literally a tool for propaganda. If you go on X, it's nothing but negative people. Now I'm not so sure that everyone is actual people. It could be bots. It could be that AI Grok making up some usernames and stuff like that. But it's just like a cesspool of negative people saying the most disgusting things, hateful things. So the moment that regular people and other people do these things, they have set themselves on a course of inevitable eventuality of their doom. And they may not realize it now. They may be arrogant about it, and they may say, "Oh no, I'm never going to be held accountable for the crimes that I'm committing, or having this mentality, or just being, prejudiced or racist or anything. But I promise you, it's coming. And there is no God that's going to do this. It's going to be you. You are currently punishing yourself on a subconscious level, because that's what we do. That's the way that creation, created things. We have to be the ones that punish ourselves for the mistakes that we make. Um, and there is such thing as karma. It's not. It doesn't happen in, like, from lifetime to lifetime, but it does happen in your current lifetime. So if you take this for example, you put out some, I don't know, some hateful thoughts. You say some negative things about somebody. Eventually, somebody's going to do the same thing to you. So the saying, like, what goes around comes around. That's the way that things work. Everything works in a cyclical nature. Um, and we do this to ourselves. So if you put out positive things, well, guess what? Eventually, positive things are going to come back to you. Now, I'm not saying that um, nothing bad will happen to you. That's just the way that life is. Sometimes we get the short end of the stick. We have to struggle. We have to go through natural struggles, and our whole mentality is what keeps us going. As long as you have the right mentality, you can keep going. And even if this situation ends up with you dying, well, if you didn't compromise yourself, well, guess what? You're off to a better start than a whole lot of other people. You have to stay strong no matter what. And you have to be willing to die for what you believe in, just like I am. There's nothing that anyone can do or say or offer me that is, going to make myself compromise myself. Someone could be holding a gun to my head and say, do this, something sexually depraved, say this, support us. I would say pull the trigger. I know that I will live another lifetime, and I will die with a smile on my face. I can guarantee that. There's nothing that anyone could do. They can't force me to do something that I don't want to do. But so many people are so easily compromised. They do it for money, they do it for fame, they do it for social status, they do it because they're just nasty individuals and they love hateful things. Guys, you cannot blame this whole situation on the genetic manipulation. Um, it doesn't take full control over your mind. If I'm able to be a good person, and there are others out there that are able, to be decent, good people, then what's the excuse for the rest of the population? It's just because they want to be that way. We choose our own path. There is no devil on your shoulder, whispering in one of your ears, and there's no angel on the other side of your shoulder, telling you to do the right thing. That sort of concept of like an angel is our conscience, is our spirit form trying to tell us. And if you learn how to listen to your conscience, it will guide you in the right direction. But the thing is, you have to know the difference between right and wrong to begin with. And there's not that many people that do know the difference between right and wrong. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, to try to, you know, help educate some people on the difference between what is right and what is wrong. There are such things as morals, and we have to live our lives by these. You have to do things according to what your conscience wants you to do. You have to also incorporate logic and reason, and you have to make decisions based on true empathy and true compassion. But you also, you should be a little bit selfless, but you can't be completely selfish. You have to, focus on yourself first. In order to help others out, you need to help yourself out first. So that's something that people don't really understand. For years and years, I've been, uh, working on my own issues, meditating, processing things, gaining access to more of my accumulated knowledge from the past, through dream state, through meditation, and all that. And I think that I'm at a point where, I'm tired of staying quiet. So I want to, vocalize these things and share, my knowledge with people. And once you get to that certain point where you are comfortable and with and you're able to explain things in a certain way that people understand it, then you should do it, because we need more people that have a positive message. But that's not what this world is. It's all propaganda. It's all lies. It's all manipulation. So I went ahead and I deleted all my social media. I deleted Reddit. I deleted YouTube channel. I was posting these videos, these episodes on YouTube. I'm not doing that anymore. Only on Patreon. That's it. And my website. We are all not from earth.com. Streaming it from StreamYard. But I deleted X. I deleted TikTok. That was the first thing I deleted. TikTok. Instagram. Instagram is nothing but a bunch of nonsense. So yeah, I took the nuclear option. I even deleted the Apple News app. So I'm not keeping up with current things, but uh, every so now and then on the internet, something will pop up, and I'll see it, like the what's going on with Russia. So Russia is preparing for war. Guys, it looks inevitable. If Putin is, you know, placing his soldiers in certain areas to prevent NATO from coming in, then he knows something. He's on the inside of this. He's also a negative person. That whole war with Ukraine, even though he was provoked by Zelensky and Biden, it doesn't matter. There's no excuse for going into Ukraine and killing innocents with soldiers, forcing your own people, to murder people for a war that has lasted over a couple of years now. So yeah, that's and the thing is, I know people from Russia and Ukraine and Belarus. Everyone that I've met from any of the Russian speaking countries or whatever, they've been amazing people. They've been very, very positive people, and I feel bad for what's going on. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing anyone can do. The situation is so far out of hand. The people that are in charge, they want death and destruction at whatever cost. And guess what? They're not willing to pay the price. They took the ultimate risk, and they're going to end up paying the ultimate price, which is compromising and throwing away this lifetime. It's going to amount to nothing. Also, there's some things going on with China and Taiwan. Xi Jinping, I gotta say, out of all of the world leaders, he is the most intelligent. He's been planning this for more than 20 years. I can tell you right now, do not underestimate China whatsoever. I've actually been to China, um, studied kung fu over there in Shufu City, and met a lot of Chinese people. Learned a little bit of Mandarin. I speak more Russian than Mandarin, but I learned a little bit over there, and I could tell you that they're very organized. So yeah, the thing is, these people that are involved, they believe that they're going to come out of this on top. They're not. It's never going to happen that way. Like I said, they are on a predestined path that they put themselves on. No one put them on this path. Um, these people that are a part of the Illuminati, no one did. They keep on, you know, perpetuating a cycle of negativity and world domination, and it's never going to end the way that they think it is. It's going to end with their inevitable deaths, because we all die. Some of them are going to die in the bunkers. They're going to be sacrificed because the people that are going down there, they're cannibals. So what do you think's going to happen to anyone that's not useful anymore? If you're not a scientist, if you're not a biologist and you can't grow plants down there, what do you think? You think that you're valuable or something? No. And you're literally living, when you go down there in those bunkers, you're going to be living with a bunch of murderers and cannibals. Come on. This is unbelievable. Hardly any of them are going to make it out, and they did that to themselves. So yeah, there you go. There's your fate for some of you. So if you think that you're gonna somehow, make it out the other side of this, when you crawl out of those bunkers and there's nothing but buildings collapse, cities collapse, nuclear wastelands, well, you did it. It's your fault. You did it, and then you're gonna have to. The people that are around, they're gonna have to live with the consequences, and they're gonna have to try to repair things. And then things are gonna settle down for a while. There's gonna be, there will be a few people that will survive. I don't think that I will because I live near Oak Ridge, and they have supposed nuclear missiles over there and radioactive material and stuff. Like they have dirty bombs and stuff. So if a missile hits anywhere near Knoxville, Oak Ridge is getting lit up, and that's not very far away. And nuclear warheads have like a 150-mile radius. So yeah, that's fine. I'd rather go out quick anyway. If I'm gonna go out, I'd rather go out quick. I don't want to go out like painful, slowly. You know, walking around and suffer from radiation poisoning. That's not a good way to go. That is your organs liquefy, and you literally you know you start deteriorating from the inside out, and it's a very very horrible, painful way to go. I really wish that there was something that can stop all this. The thing is, there's not enough good people on the planet to do this. The only way that all this is getting prevented, if there's some kind of miracle of creation happens, like all of a sudden people start realizing what's going to happen, the consequences, all of it. There are ways of doing this. The Andromedans and the Federation of Light, they can come to people in their dreams, and they can show them this, horrible future. They can try it that way. They can, they have, through their directives, they're allowed to send um, telepathic impulses and things like this. So why can't they try that? Why can't they try like coming to people in their dream state and showing them this horrible future? Maybe that'll work. Maybe Pata, you should try that. Um, Try something. Do something before this gets any worse. Another way of doing it would be directly, taking away all the weapons. The other peoples that are going to make themselves known and help out, they're not going to do that. They're not going to take away the weapons. They're going to help people that are suffering. They're already doing certain things that I know about. I believe that they were the same people that put up those obelisks years ago. So they've been here for a while. They've been watching the situation on Earth, and they are in no way affiliated with the Federation of Light. They don't even know they exist, as far as I know. But they do certain things. They're the human classification. I know that. I don't know exactly what they look like. I've never actually, met them, but I know they're here. I think I've seen their ships before. Um, I believe they're the ones that put the obelisk up. The obelisk, the whole purpose of them was to capture information and try to create some sort of like oscillating frequencies to, mitigate negative energy and sort of like dissipate them. But they don't really, have all that much knowledge in negative energy. So they were just trying something out. I'm pretty sure that was them. I don't know what the name of their civilization is. I wish I knew, but um, they are going to help out certain peoples when all this starts going down. But they're going to get pushed away, and it's not going to last that long. So they're probably it's likely after all this happens, they see all the destruction that they're not going to come back to Earth anymore. They're not. They're just going to say, "Screw the civilization." They're beyond our help. They're relatively new to helping civilizations out. They're not really that new at space exploration. They have decent technology, a whole lot better than we do. I could tell you that much. But yeah, they're not really sure what they're doing. Um, Honestly, the Federation of Light doesn't have very much experience either, despite what some people think. 53,000 years of experience is not that much. That's a a blip in the cosmic, time space. It's just like a tiny drop in a massive ocean of time space. That's nothing at all. Like there are peoples out there that have been doing this for millions of years, and I can guarantee you that any of these peoples out there, they would have done this Earth mission a whole lot differently. Um, these people, like, I don't know what's wrong with them. They go on all this sort of prophetic nonsense. Prophecies are not meant to base your decisions off of. They're literally basing this entire mission off of the Enoch prophecies and numerological calculation. That's very cold, calculated. They do have empathy and compassion, and they have helped out a lot, but it's just so bizarre. And the thing is, they're gonna realize this when all this is done. They're gonna realize that was a mistake. Um, Doing things that way, you have to make decisions based off of true empathy and true compassion, also logic and reason. And the most empathetic and compassionate thing to do would be do more at the beginning of a mission and just sort of maintain things. If they would have done more at the very beginning and would have, said, screw these prophecies, we don't want them to happen, because that's what prophecies are for. Don't you realize it? The reason why people are capable of having prophetic dreams and being able to see the future, especially negative prophecies, is so you can prevent it, not so you can guide things into them. What an interesting concept that is. Bizarre, huh? That you're supposed to prevent horrible things from happening, not be okay with them happening, and using the excuse that all this is going to end up fine. But you know what? Let them think whatever they want. I can guarantee you the day's going to come when I'm going to be right about all this. It's just all nonsense. And there's a lot of people in the FIGU organization that's going to disagree. They're going to say all kinds of, hateful things against me and all that. Whatever. Bring it on. Bring it on. It's not even my own opinion. This is the facts. This is the way that things work. If you want to, go on all this, you know, sort of creational zealotry, that's what I call it. People that worship creation. Creation is not supposed to be worshipped, first of all, and neither is Nocadamian. I don't care who he is, and that he's billions of years old spiritually. He's just a man. You have him and his little group of Nocadamian zealots that think that he's infallible, that he can never make a mistake. Well, you know what? He did make a mistake in this lifetime, but not doing more, but not going out there and doing lectures and things. But he is telling the truth. Billy Meyer is telling the truth. That's who he is, Nocadamian. Um, and the FIGA organization has done a lot of positive things, but guys, the passive mentality doesn't work in this situation. That's evidently clear. I'm not a passive person at all. I'm not. If I had the means to do something, I could promise you I'd be doing it right now. This is pretty much all I can do is, vocalize these things, give my factual opinion because these are the facts. And I'm very well informed on what's going on. And, this is not like misguided opinions. These are the facts. These are things that they've said. We're never going to interfere no matter what happens. This play our proclamation. Um, they're looking forward to the future. 1,000 years into the future when this is all over, and they expect some sort of magical thing to happen. People holding hands and singing and dancing and running around on a circle, whatever, with rainbows in the sky and birds flying around, all this nonsense. Guys, it's just going to be another day. Just like today is, just like yesterday was, just like tomorrow is. It's just going to be another day. When it's all over, it's going to be for nothing. Not everyone's going to make it off of Earth. Not everyone's going to be educated on reincarnation. Um, Not everyone's going to even remotely be educated on how to dissipate negative energies. No one even knows about that now, aside from myself and a few other people. Everyone that's in the FIGA organization, they know that The entire planet is encircled with negative energy. And there are a lot of things that people aren't taking into account. How is this affecting the brand new spirit forms? The people that suffer from Down syndrome and other intellectual deficiencies. There is a detrimental effect of being created and living within an ecosystem of negativity. You are literally setting the course for their entire spiritual evolution and the evolutionary ladder in a negative way. You are starting off in the worst way possible. They're not taking these things into account because they really just don't care. That's what it is. I do care, but there's nothing I can do. They have all the means of doing things differently, but they're not doing it because they're not seeing the full picture. They're overcomplicating things with numerological calculations, future visions, future excursions, prophecy, all this nonsense. When the solution to the problem is very very simple, but and I've said this before, the only thing that will change this situation fully towards a positive right now, terraform Mars, build some temporary homes, and deport all the negative, every last one of them. You cannot leave a single one behind. So every one of them. But that's probably not going to happen. So anyway, whatever. So these people that are applauding all this, this has been in the making for a long time. Um, like I said on a previous episode, it all started in the year 1440 with the Society of Jesus, and they have since added more elements to their plan. As technology advances, as they gained access to reverse engineered, otherworldly technology, they've been, advancing their negative intrigues, manipulating with people, kidnapping them, doing experiments on them. And you got to understand, some the people that are doing these experiments on these are um, regular scientists and geneticists that went to school and went to like Yale, Stanford, Harvard, and then they're all excited about working in these secret underground facilities, and then they're compromising themselves, and they're devoid of any real empathy or compassion, and they're experimenting on kidnapped children and women and men. They're using them as guinea pigs to further their agenda. Their whole goal is to try to live forever and extend their lives out, which is not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. Not right now is not. So everyone that is alive right now, including myself, all these genetic advancements and living to be hundreds and thousands of years old, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds and then thousands of years old. The max is about 4,000 years old to live. This is not going to happen for a very, very long time. It's not going to happen until next lifetimes. So, what is it all for? Nothing. It's all for nothing. All and the thing that gets me is the Federations of the Light mentality on this. So they are allowing this to happen, all these grotesque things to happen. They are actually sending these people telepathic impulses to make these genetic advancements and technological advancements, the negative individuals, because they believe in nothing but progress. They're only looking at progress in the future. They couldn't care less who is getting tortured, mutilated, and all these other things. They don't care about that. They only care about the future progress and learning this stuff. What they don't understand is they no longer have the right to make any medical, genetic, technological advancements. They relinquish that right and control the moment that they decide to do things in a negative way. There are positive ways of doing things, and then there are negative ways of doing things, which they are. So they're effectively contributing to all of this. They may not see it that way, but that's what's happening. That is the actual facts. That's what's happening. They are contributing to depravity on a massive level. And guys, these are the people that are supposed to be helping us out and that claim that they care so much. They don't. That's my, that's like I said, that's a factual opinion. That's based on the facts. That's based on the contact notes. That's based on all of it or whatever. So they can say whatever they want to say, make whatever excuses that they want to make, but they are supporting the worst of the worst on this planet because they only care about progress itself. So this plan has been, coming into fruition. They've tried it already several times. It appears that they're going to be successful with it, but all they're going to be successful is with their own destruction and billions of other people. But there is, a positive future. There is for everyone. And the thing is, no one's realizing is they're basing all these decisions on these future projections and future excursions and saying, "Oh, this is incredible mission and it's going to end up being so positive and all that." Everything always ends up positive. This is the way that creation decreed it. It has to end that way. They're not seeing this. It doesn't matter whether they were doing something or they weren't doing anything at all, because inevitably it's going to end up positive, even if the civilization would have, blown itself up or destroyed it. So just like Malona was blown up, which is the asteroid belt, it would have eventually ended up positive. Even if our spirit forms drifted off to other civilizations, those other civilizations would eventually become positive if they were negative, or if they didn't, know the truth about things. Reincarnation, they would eventually learn these things. You have to learn these things, and that is our destiny. This has to happen before you ascend to the purely spiritual. So make your excuses all you want. Act like you're doing something, to help us out. Now you're not. You're only focused on the future. And also another thing um, that I just learned the details about in the contact notes, Billy Meyer contact notes. Apparently, they're only focused on the Lyran spirit forms. So I can tell you right now, I'm not Lyran. That's not my lineage. I'm not from Earth either, but I'm not from this Lyran lineage. So they only care about them because they're a bunch of spiritual elitists, and they have this bizarre, belief that only these Lyran spiritual beings are the only ones that they can send these advancements to, and they're completely disregarding everyone else that's Earth spirit form. This is not something that I'm making up. This is actually facts that's in the contact notes. To me, this is the highest level of disrespect. How can you justify only helping out a certain group of spiritual beings? There's not that many of them, and those are the only ones that are making the advancements. So I guess if you're, from this Lyran lineage, congratulations, you're the chosen ones. All of us, everyone else, and that includes billions and billions and billions of other people. We're nobody to them. So yeah, a lot of people in the FIGA organization are gonna, disagree with that because they're Lyran. So how nice is it to be on the other side of the fence, and to be on the side of the fence that myself and a whole lot of other people are. We're not making any advancements intellectually, spiritually, only through the most hardest, most difficult determination. But you know what? I can guarantee you that these other spiritual beings, earth made spiritual beings, and others like myself that are from different places, if you're listening to this, Quetzal, Ptah, Andromedans, watch. We're gonna surpass all of your, little lot, your cursed Lyran lineage, because that's all that you are. You're just a cursed lineage of peoples. You have done nothing but delved into the negative for millions of years, and you think that you're the best at everything. You're not. I can guarantee you that we're all the same. And another thing is the spiritually young on Earth, the ones who do make it out of this, well, they're not going to go through millions of years of struggling. They're going to learn an incredible amount in a short amount of time. So they're going to surpass everybody else. So they'll be tremendous, the ones that do it. And I hope that for them. I wish that for them. I want anyone that's a new spirit form now, or very young, I want you to prove these arrogant, egotistical, spiritual elitist wrong. I want you to. And I'm going to do the best I can to try to evolve myself. But, this whole spiritual elitist mentality, it makes me sick to my stomach because they're not seeing everyone as equal. They're only going by certain facts that they are the only ones that can receive telepathic impulses and all this nonsense. That is not true, man. It's just bizarre. It's just this whole like spiritual hierarchical way of thinking. One day, I promise you, I'm gonna prove it that you were wrong this whole time to go by this nonsense, and people have misinterpreted what the Patali level said. You have completely, blatantly misinterpreted what they've said, and you're going about this whole Earth mission the wrong way. And yeah, it may be a while before I can prove it. It's probably gonna be like 2,000 years from now, but I will do it. Watch, mark my words. I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I already know that Batal will be in another lifetime then. So get ready to have a conversation then, oh King of Wisdom. But anyway, so this the things that are going on now, yeah, it's going to inevitably end very very likely. With 3/4 of the planet destroyed, America is going to be devastated. Um, a large portion of Europe is going to be devastated. There's going to be like pockets of South America which are left untouched. Antarctica, of course, there's nothing there other than other human beings. I'm not completely sure if they're going to leave or not. It's possible they can. Why would you stay on a planet when there's nuclear bombs flying all over the place and you can get infected by radiation? Even though they do have force shield technology to protect them from all this, but it's possible they'll leave. They need to leave anyway. These people are not the most positive peoples. The three different civilizations that are living in Antarctica, they do abductions. They do all kinds of negative things. They're just like overall manipulative. They don't get along with each other, as far as I know. And Earth is just an outpost. We're like lab rats to them. They couldn't care less about us. We're like ants, and they step on us. But they have their own civilizations. They need to just go back. Just leave Earth. But so you're gonna have Africa, a large portion of Africa will be destroyed. There'll be places where it's not, going to be affected. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is that the majority of the entire continent of Africa is just like desert. South Africa is complete desert. There's not much that grows out there. On the western side, Congo and all that, yeah, there's a lot of jungle and stuff like that. But when people think of Africa, they always think of an entire continent full of jungle. It's not like that because if you look on a map, look at the Sahara. It's completely the northern like third of Africa is just desert, and then you have Egypt, and then you have the eastern side, Ethiopia, and all that. It's all desert. I mean, there are trees out there and stuff, but um, it's not going to be pretty much survivable. Um, so you think about this: 3/4 of the planet being destroyed. The population is going to get down to around 3 billion. So like 7 billion people will be affected by this. No longer being a lifetime, regular people, innocents, and also negative individuals. So the other 3 billion people that are going to make it, that will not die from radiation poisoning and all that, they're going to have to be the ones to rebuild things. And like I said, I'm definitely not going to make it out of it, um, which is fine. Um, it's fine because there's nothing that I can do about it. This whole situation is just disgusting, and I'm just infuriated. I'm infuriated with other people's the Syrian Federation. I'm infuriated with the Federation of Light, and I'm infuriated with negative Earth humans. I had nothing to do with any of this. I had nothing to do with religious delusion or war or any of it. But yeah, here I am. somehow I got stuck on this civilization, and now I have to go through it, which um, it is what it is. I will make it out, you know, one day, and but it'll be a while for that. But so the people that are going to make it out of it, they're going to have a monumental task on their hands. It's going to be disorganized. Um, Mostly, they'll be living in those underground cities that weren't destroyed, and they'll have to operate through that. They'll have to develop technology to get rid of the radiation. Um, Recycle materials and stuff like that. It'll have to be done in zones. Um, you'll have to, massive, massive cleanup. The only way that I see it happening, you have to develop some pretty advanced technology to recycle, rocks, cement, asphalt, metals, plastics, all of it very, very quickly, and that's what will need to be done. And this is going to take decades, decades and decades. Multiple generations will go by. Few people will make genetic advancements, extend that life out a little bit, and probably in 150 years, there's going to be some positive growth on this. But like I said, all the negative individuals that were responsible for it, they're going to be gone. They're not going to live to see that. So if you end up watching this, what was it for? For nothing. For nothing. You destroyed three-quarters of a planet, and you contributed to religious delusion and all sorts of negativity and hate for nothing. So mark my words, you're not going to make it through this. You're not. I know that I won't, but I'm okay with that. Are you? Because they're a bunch of cowards and they're afraid of death. I'm not afraid of death at all. I'm not afraid of what happens after this lifetime. I'm not afraid of drifting to another civilization, which apparently I'm just a nobody and nobody really cares. So, um, but whatever it is, I care about myself and I have a strong mentality, whether or not, Ptah Quetzal really gives a crap about me or anybody else that's not from this Lyran lineage. But that's all right, though. You know, like I said, the day is going to come when they're going to realize all this. See, the thing is, there's a difference between in the past, let's say like 50 years ago, whenever they went into the future and they saw all this, World War III and all of it, all of the horrible things that are happening, yeah, it gave them an emotional reaction because they are empathetic people. They care, they do care, but that was a powerful emotional experience seeing all these horrible things happening. Um, but that was the future that didn't happen yet, though. So actually living in that time, it's a completely different feeling because there's nothing that you can do to change this. Well, there is, but they're not willing to do this, and they also put themselves into a corner with that proclamation saying that they're never going to interfere with anything. So they're going to have a different sort of emotional reaction to this, and they're going to start realizing if they listen to this and you know without overreacting and just see this as me trying to help out and give a different perspective on it. That's all it is, just a different perspective. I'm not trying to insult anybody, and they're not thin-skinned anyways. Only Earth humans are thin-skinned, and they're going to overreact to it. I don't think that they will, but they're going to realize it was all for nothing, and there's not much you can do because it's too late. So there is a difference by going into the future when it hasn't happened yet, and you can potentially change this. But when you're actually living within something that's negative, there's not much you can do about it, and it's more powerful. It's like this like creative process that happens in our minds with our neurology. We start to feel this buzzing feeling and this tingling feeling, and also that pit in your stomach where this is actually happening. This is just I can't believe it. It's almost like ethereal, like you're existing in the past, present, and future all at the same time, and you're coming to realizations that there's nothing you can do about it. It's a very powerful experience, and it's very emotional. And yeah, I think that that's kind of the way that they're going to feel, and they're going to regret not doing much to stop this. But maybe it is possible to prevent this, but it's going to take a creational miracle to stop this from happening. If the Syrian Federation would get off their lazy butts and do something, they could do something about it too. But yeah, the Syrian Federation, that's a whole nother story. They just they really don't they don't realize that they made a horrible mistake with the genetic manipulation. They do realize it was wrong. They know that it was wrong. It cost a lot of lives. Pretending to be creator overlords and gods and all that, that was wrong also. But they just don't realize that it violated every single creational law and creational recommendation, and that it was their job and their job alone to come and fix that problem. But anyway, I see things that way because they are responsible, and this whole Earth situation is much more complicated than some people make it out to be. So there are a lot of people that are responsible for the Ba'ath, the Lyran lineage, the Syrian Federation, which a large portion of them are from the Lyran lineage. And I still have to do an episode on that, the details of how they came about and all that. But so in a couple hundred years, this is going to be kind of like a distant memory. There will be a lot of repairs done. They're going to start curing diseases and viruses and degenerative disorders. Things are going to start looking on the positive side, but the negative intrigues are not going to necessarily stop altogether. Not until, you know, the genetic manipulation is reversed in its entirety. There will be people that will make genetic advancements, physiological advancements, technological advancements. They'll be flying out in space, probably in 200 years, like, many, many, many times light speed. They're going to make the mistakes of creating like half human, half animal peoples to do physical labor, and also cybernetics to control the ships that they fly around. And so, and then skip ahead, hundreds of years into the future, and then no one's gonna be negative anymore. That's it. And people are gonna start to recall their previous incarnations. They're gonna start to travel back into the past, right now, in the present time. So, some of you out there, if you see some ships, you never know. It could be you from the future. That's interesting. You would think that your future self would want to, like, talk to you or slap you in the face, punch you in the face, and say, don't make that mistake. Don't step over that line. Don't compromise yourself. But that's not the way that it works. We can't just go back in time and do that. Um, Further, further, further into the future, thousands of years into the future, yeah, it's possible to do that because you're not in a sort of religious delusional mindset. So our future selves cannot come back now. I mean, I could. My future self could come right now, and I could talk to myself, have a conversation, and give little hints and about the future, like what do I accomplish and all that. But I haven't done that yet from the future. Maybe I don't know. I guess I'll find out. 2,000 years from now, I'll find out the reason why I haven't spoken to myself. Maybe I have. I had a strange experience several years ago. Maybe that was me. I was thinking that it was like the Patali level communicating with me or creation. I'm more inclined to believe that it was the creational level spirit forms that communicated with me. I'm just not entirely positive. I don't even remember the whole conversation, but uh, I mentioned it in one previous episode. It was about personal things, about what I'll accomplish in the future. They told me that I'll get everything that I want, but not right now. That's all I remember from it. Um, it could have been me, but I don't know. It didn't feel like it was me though. it was one voice, the collective consciousness. So I don't think that I would speak through the collective consciousness, or maybe I ascended a collective consciousness. I don't know. Maybe I'm that spiritually old that that's it. My time's up. Um, that's not what I want. You know, I want to go out there and I want to explore. I don't want to end this experience just yet. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah, just imagine some of the ships that you see that maybe they're following you around or something. It could be you from the future. Maybe they're yourself is doing something to help you along. Maybe you send some sort of telepathic impulse to give you some ideas or something, or reassure you of everything will work out just fine. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what anyone does. People think that doing small little below half measures is actually effectively making things positive. It doesn't matter if you sit back like those creepy civilizations of peoples and just observe and watch horrible things, which the Federation of Light does that. They're invisible all the time, and they sit back and they watch horrible things happen. They're well on their way of becoming like those creepy neutral peoples. I could tell you that right now. Um, but it doesn't matter if you do something or you don't. The only thing that does matter is if you do whatever it takes to solve the root of the issues by, um, you know, formulating a plan where the peoples do it themselves. Because I don't believe that other human beings should do all the work for everyone. I don't. There, maybe some people will come across this and they'll say, "Oh, he just wants, um, the Federation of Light, the Syrian Federation, to do all the work for you." No, I don't. I don't believe in that nonsense. I believe that the way that you accumulate knowledge and you learn is by going through natural struggles. You're supposed to struggle, but nothing that we're going through right now is natural. Nothing. It's violating every single creational law and creational recommendation that there is. And the thing is, it's going to be later on in the future before people find out what was it all for. What did this civilization actually learn that they couldn't have learned doing things a different way? And no one's seeing that, but at least I'm seeing things clearly. And I'm not going to change the way that I see things because I know that I'm right. Um, I can't prove it right now, but one day I will be able to prove it. And I can guarantee you, myself and anyone that was involved with the Earth mission, we are going to have a very, very long conversation. It's going to be a different conversation about how things went down, the decisions that were made, these ridiculous, principles that they go by, these laws and rules and directives for what? For what? For endless suffering and death and child molestation and kidnapping and assassinations and destroying the ecosystem and slaughtering animals and cannibalism and all. What is it all for? Did it serve a purpose? Why? Because you dictated that that's the way that things are supposed to be, and you didn't want to do something about it. So, but anyway, so we have to look um, forward towards this positive future. I do that all the time. I just plan on ahead what's going to happen in the future, guys. This, even though all this sounds horrible, things will inevitably become positive. That's the way that it happens, whether or not somebody does something or not. um, you will figure things out. We do live other lifetimes, and it's not magic. It's not any creator deity that's doing this or whatever. Things have to become positive. um, Before you ascend to the purely spiritual, you have to have knowledge of life and existence. That's why there are levels of spiritual evolution. So we can go through these levels and we can accumulate knowledge through our own determination, studying, doing research, experimentation, exploring, meeting other peoples, being influenced by other peoples. All these things. We live to experience life. we don't live to go through endless, cycles of negativity. It never lasts forever. But when you have a bunch of people who are misguided, who see this as the only way to a positive future, then here we go. We have the Earth situation. So it has to do with a lot of things. It's more complicated than just Earth humans are negative. They're not taking responsibility for their decisions. It's more complicated than multiple religious delusions that are on this planet. It's more complicated than a bunch of cold hearted, apathetic spiritual elitists that have made the decision for us. Um, it has to do with everything. You have to be able to compile all the facts together, and it's a lot of people's faults. It's a whole lot of people's faults. Um, but this is the path that we're on. Unfortunately, that's the way that it looks. I don't see this ending in a different way. If it does, I wish that it will. I can't tell you how much that I wish that it will. I can tell you right now, if I had the means and capabilities of doing something more, I would be doing it right this second. If I knew who I was, I had access to all my incarnations, all my spiritual power. I'd be going around spirit healing people. I would take away the weapons, deactivate them somehow. I would put negative individuals on a space prison. That's what I would do, every last one of them, and properly educate people on the true meaning to life. That's what I clean up the planet, terraform, plant trees, all of it, clean up all the garbage, all of these positive things, and just end this nonsense or whatever. But it just seems like nobody really wants that to happen. So it's not going to. You have other peoples that have deemed this so, and they're in control of the situation. They don't realize it, but they're in control of it. And by making the decisions that they've made, they've essentially, definitively set us on the eventuality that they want. So they've set us on that course. And maybe these Enoch prophecies, they were prophesied according to the things that they're doing now. I don't know if they've ever considered that, but when you have prophecies, you only get major events in these prophetic dreams. You don't know all the little details in between. Maybe they are guiding things into this with the, below minimal measures that they're doing, and they don't even realize it. Something to think about. But certain things have changed, and the reason why these certain things have changed, according to these original prophecies, is because of the negative energies. You cannot anticipate this. There is no way of anticipating um, a civilization that is living within an ecosystem of negative energies created by war, religious delusion, murder, hate, all forms of sexual depravity, ritualistic sacrifice, slaughtering of animals, and any other hateful negative thing. That's what creates negative energies. It's not just religious delusions, all those things. And there's no way to anticipate these things. And I imagine that things are going to continue to change, and they'll have to adjust according to that. So one day they'll learn. They'll learn about negative energies. I have another theory that they're letting all this happen so they can learn about negative energies. I really, really hope that that's not the case. That they're allowing these things to happen. Sounds like something the Andromedans would do, but that's just a theory. I really hope that that's not true, because then that would mean that they are even more cold-hearted and apathetic than I thought they were. So, but yeah, that's about it, everyone. Let's hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I don't even know where the term came from, honestly. That's interesting. I need to look that up. I don't know why I just thought about that, but keeping your fingers crossed, that could have negative connotations. I don't know, but that seems to, from throughout time, whenever the saying got started, it means something positive. So you hope for the future. But maybe I'll just say that. Let's just hope for something to happen, a positive future. The thing is, it's going to take for more and more people to wake up and to we need to stop this. All I can say is that the situation is never going to be resolved passively. So anyone that has a passive mentality, guys, that's not going to work in this situation. The negative individuals need to be exposed. They need to be held accountable. They need to be removed, plain and simple. And the weapons need to be taken away or deactivated, all of it. But it doesn't appear as if that's going that way. There are far, far too many people that are involved in this, billions of people, and they want it to happen. So when you have that, when you have billions of people that want this to happen, that are governed internally, emotionally, psychologically by hate and megalomaniacal ideals, then you know what's going on Earth. This is the result you get, and unfortunately, there's nothing that us regular people can do about it. Um, Maybe somehow I can reach enough people before that happens, and people will start opening their mind to the possibility that the only way to really get out of this is for us to stand up for what we believe in. So I'm doing that my own way, even if it ends up, you know, costing me my life, whatever. I don't care. I'm not staying quiet anymore. Um, I'm going to voice my opinion, my factual opinion on things, and I stand up for what I believe in, no matter what. My feet are firmly planted down. If anybody wants to try to move me, well, guess what? You're gonna have to end my life because I am immovable, and I know that in my next lifetime, I'm gonna be glad that I stood up for what I believe in. I'm gonna be glad that I actually cared about this civilization, unlike some people, and that I was a considerate person and that I had like a positive message because my message is positive. It is going to end up um, you know, incredibly well for everyone. It's going to take a while for those that do not make it off of Earth in the physical, but we will figure things out. Whatever civilization that we end up with, um, and also another thing, the moment that the people that are alive in incarnations and the moment that they leave billions and billions of spirit forms behind and they go to whatever system that the Syrian Federation suggests, that's the moment that the Terran civilization dies. So they're probably still going to call themselves Terrans, even though that's not the truth. Um, so the moment they decide to not find another option to bring everyone spiritually to the new system, is the moment that the Terran civilization dies and all potential dies with it. So they will be a new people, but things will be positive for them. They'll be exploring the entire universe, the majority of it. I'm not gonna say the entire universe, majority of it, because the universe is incredibly vast. They're gonna have a nice life, no financial system. Things are gonna be positive, peaceful. They're gonna have new friends out there, and life will be great. And eventually, for the rest of us, they're gonna left behind here in 2,000 years. We'll drift off into other civilizations and eventually figure things out. Hopefully, the civilizations that we drift to are positive. I can tell you right now, the Syrians on Sirius B, which are about 8.5 light years from Earth, they are not positive, and they will not be positive here in 2,000 years. There's no way. They are negative. They do abductions on Earth, and I would assume that quite a few of us are going to end up with them. Um, but maybe they will figure things out before then. I mean, that's a long uh, period of time. So yeah, my computer just started to restart right in the middle of a live stream. But yeah, I'm gonna end it up now. Um, so guys, have a good night. Thank you for listening. Let's have hope. Let's do whatever we can to figure this out. Um, Survive through it. Stay strong. Have a strong mentality. And I'll see you in the next episode, or I'll see you in the next lifetime. Good night.